Gucci side dish with Dr. Crystal Cliff.
When we're creating dishes and menus, like kind of like I said, a lot of the jargon, and if we were to do indigenous foods only for our demographic on the White Mountain Apache tribe, that might create more barriers than pathways. So one of the concepts that I like to stick to is meeting people where they're at. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of people that live in a large city take for granted the food culture that's all around them, the wide range of restaurants they have to choose from, the accessibility, the speed at which they get it, the convenience, the whole culture of food in a large city. It's
Mm-hmm.
very common for people to just see, let's go get Chinese, let's go get Italian, let's go get Jamaican, let's go get Greek, let's go get X, Y, and Z. But out here on
Right.
the res, it's very different. There's generations of people that have grown up not even ever knowing what a Greek dish might be,
Mm-hmm.
might not even grow up ever knowing what real ramen looks like, might not ever, might not have ever tasted anything other than reservation foods.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start and we take the approach of expanding food vocabulary, and so that we can create those reference points through the dishes, so that maybe next year we can say the way we made the broth is similar to how we made ramen broth or pho broth or a stock.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to layer our communities, enhance our community's food vocabulary, so we're
Okay.
not going really hardcore to just do, like I said, all native foods right away.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not doing French fries and fried bread and some of these convenience foods.
Right.
We're trying to keep it colorful, fresh, tangible, and fun. That way we can kind of keep people coming, and kind of use that emotional gathering piece where people come into the cafe and they share and they talk. So, but there is layers to incorporating the knowledge and the traditions in the food,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes an ingredient calls for it, sometimes it doesn't. um Again, with this team that we're building now at the cafe, all of us are from White River, all of us are in different stages of recovery from something. All of us have you know all of us have different skill sets. Some of us
Mm-hmm.
speak Apache and some of us don't. But so the framework is kind of the way that I'm working to structure it, is letting them kind of express their voices through the food and the creative
Beautiful.
spirit of the team. You know what I mean? The group conscience,
Yeah.
as opposed to just my perspective on food.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some young Apache chefs in the kitchen that I'm really excited for. I can't wait to see them commit a few more years and really expand their skill sets, and really take some leadership positions. So there's many ways that we do create dishes. Sometimes it's very simple, the way grandma does it, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's very chefy, like you might see on social media. So it just kind of
Right.
depends on the mood we're in or who we're cooking for. But what I think is most important is that we're White Mountain Apaches, we're on the res, and we're circulating the knowledge in our community.
Love that. I love that. I love that you're increasing the food vocabulary, that so many people are so limited in knowing exactly what is in front of them because they have had such limited resources. And I love that you're taking that slow build and like you said, meeting people where they are. That's the most important thing. And as an acupuncturist and a doctor of Chinese medicine, that's exactly how we have to treat people, is however they show up in front of me is exactly how I have to treat them, and who they are tomorrow is not who they are today. So if they come in tomorrow, I have to treat that person that they are, exactly who they are. So I love that you are doing food that same way. You're presenting the food exactly how it is, where it is, to meet this person where they are, with the conscious joining together of the people within your staff and part of your team and where they are. I mean, it just is that community aspect within your food, even in the creation of it. I do have a question. In Chinese medicine, we have different cooking styles and methods according to the seasons of the year. Is there a particular cooking style that is considered an Apache cooking style? Um, Anything at
Yeah, I
all?
think there's one of our favorite methods is cooking in the ground,
Ooh.
barbecuing corn. So right now the farmers are, waiting to plant their corn.
Mm-hmm.
They're already seeding and growing greens and all kinds of stuff for us. But in September, November, they're gonna be at harvest time, and that's when they dig massive pits and they harvest all the corn and they cook it underground. And that's an old tradition, going all the way back to Mesoamerica, down to South America. That's
Ooh.
I think one of the most important food technologies that made its way from where corn originated, north and south. And so we've
Yeah.
adopted it as Apaches, and Navajos do it too. To me, that's one of my favorite ways to cook because it requires so much. It requires so
Mm-hmm.
many people or so many resources, so much timing, so much care. There's
Mm-hmm.
ceremony and song. So that's one of the really
Oh,
neat ones. One of the neat ones to
beautiful.
do it. Want to kind of go back
That.
to that question about like building
Mm-hmm.
the foods.
Mm-hmm.
I think what helps us, or at least what helps me to do my best to create and practice the foods with some integrity, I think, or some responsibility, is I really look at what we do through like an anthropological lens. I
Mm.
look at it like what we're doing right now is a cultural occurrence. This has never happened for the White Mountain Apache tribe ever, and anything that we do, we write, we cook, has the potential to make it into the history books of our tribe. So
Yes.
that kind of forces us to be a little bit more responsible with the selection of ingredients, the humor we incorporate, the
Mm-hmm.
slang and the language, and how we make people laugh, and the approach we're taking. Because when we look back on it, you know a lot of the books, the anthropological texts on the Western Apache group, were a lot of them were by Goodwin or Keith Basso, and Keith Basso is a family friend. And when I read those Basso books, I recognize place names, I recognize family names, I
Mm.
recognize a lot of stuff in the books, and it's really apparent that an anthropologist just came into the community and asked around who grows corn, who knows the songs, and people just pointed. So, that same thing could happen to us.
Right.
So
Right.
who's cooking right now? They will come see us. And what we choose to say or present could have the potential, a lasting ripple effect in text and books, academic, culinary, whatever it might be.